This is how to start an honest revolution and rebuild our world at the same time, part 17. I don't want to take up too much of your time today, just a few words. I actually wrote a speech for y'all to give you a little insight into who I am and what I'm trying to accomplish and how I'm going to get there. Obviously, like I've been saying since I restarted in part 13, how to start an honest revolution and rebuild our world at the same time, part 13. I want to help make the world a better place. Now, in that process, I don't want to be a part of the problem. I want to be a part of the solution. So during that process, I have to acknowledge that along the way, I could be making some mistakes. And when I find that I'm making some mistakes, if I'm honest with myself, if I find myself trying to be honest with you guys out there, I actually have to adjust my philosophy, which is why I've actually taken a look at myself over and over again during the course of my revolutionary career, which, like I said, has spanned since I was about 24 years old. And if the Most High spares my life, within a few days I will be 47 years old. So it's almost, I don't know how many years I've been doing this. I don't want to mess up on my math. I'm on video. But I've been doing this for a while. And when I started out with a totally different mindset than what I have right now. And then I went in one direction, and then eventually I came right back to where I was. But as far as I'm concerned, where I wasn't really a good place to begin with in the first place, because I was dealing with a whole lot of emotion and dealing with what I was physically able to see, and my perception was limited because of that. Very limited because of that. So since then I've had a lot of experiences, and even in those experiences, in some cases I probably didn't get the right message out of those experiences. But the whole time that I've been on this planet, and the whole time that I've been trying to make a difference in the world in my own unique little way, my personal moral integrity was always sustained. Like, if somebody could prove to me that I should, take my life in another direction, it makes sense to me, and my spirit moves me to move in that direction, well, I'm one of those people who always had the courage to step out and take risk and be different, to always represent what I feel was truthful, the way I see it, And the minute I begin to take objection with it, I will ask the right questions of the right people, and if my questions aren't answered, I come up to my own conclusions. So that's what this series that I've been doing, and all my audio and video work has been about since I've been doing the things that I've been doing. And I call myself a revolutionary writer and speaker, and that's true. I'm a writer and speaker that does what I do to inspire change. I admit that I don't always have the flyest things to say, or some of the shit might sound off the wall, like I got visions of grandeur, I see myself in a place that I probably could never get to. But let me explain something to you guys who might say that I have visions of grandeur. Any person who's ever accomplished great things in the past had to at least have had seen his or her self accomplishing those or fulfilling those visions in his or her own mind. And right now, of course, a lot of people do not share the same vision that I do. They're not even really willing to listen to the things that I say because shit is kind of crazy. You know, I admit if I heard people saying shit like that, for the most part, like the stuff that I say, like being sovereign, vicegerent, executor, administrator, beneficiary, um, you know, fulfilling all parts of the trust. First of all, most people, assuming all sorts of the trust, most people are not even aware of what a trust is. So when I say I fulfill all of those roles according to the will of the Almighty Creator and the last will and testament of the Almighty Creator, people don't even know what a will is. They don't know what a testament is, for the most part. So it's like I'm above their head, and I don't want to say that people are dumb or whatever. Some people might understand what I'm talking about, but they just not even willing to hear about it, because who's this Negro saying that he's all of this according to the Most High or whatever, but they're not really even listening to what I'm saying. You know, a lot of people like to ignore me and pretend like I don't exist and what I'm doing don't even exist, because I posted my work on numerous forums on Facebook to personal friends. I've given friends CDs and DVDs. Ask them, at least tell me what you think about it. And you know, I never hear from them on the subject again. I ask them what you think. They'd be like, yeah, man, it was all right. So tell me something specific about it. Nothing. So they ain't even listened to it. But at the same time, these are the same people that when I go on Facebook and let's say something like what happened in San Francisco, San Francisco, I believe, yesterday, when this black man was literally pretty much modern day lynched, a lynch mob of, they say it was 5 police officers, but it looked like a lot more than that. And a whole lot of discharging of weapons. They literally shot a man, it seemed like at least 50 times, for carrying a knife. They said they tried to subdue him with mace and pepper spray and all of that. And they couldn't subdue him, so I guess the answer was to kill him. Now, so far, I've been scouring the internet to see if there's been any outrage from the black community about that, and haven't seen any. I've seen a few comments here and there. Now, what that brings me to believe is that this has been happening so much that it's even desensitized us to the point where we'll show a little anger or whatever, but next day, next hour, it's like business as usual. You still gonna post a twerking video, or you gonna show some cute shit with some bunnies, or you gonna post the old fly quote, or you'll even have the nerve to post some African conscious shit. But you won't dare organize with the other brothers and sisters in your community to try and find a solution to reverse this. I've been trying to tell everybody for the longest the solution to the dirtiness and the filthiness of this system to begin with is not to buy into it. It's a shell game, you know? And I could explain the significance of a shell game to you, but I think just about all of you have been exposed to that at one time or another. Shell game, greed, card molly, or whatever type of game like that, where people buy into the illusion that they could win at taking their chances at in the game that the system is. All they got to do is understand it and know how to play it well enough. And well, that may be true, That may be true to a degree, but at some point, you're going to have to realize that you're going to have to play ball with somebody along the way. And if you don't, then all that you built and worked for, you're going to be taken down. That's just the way society is. And that's nothing to base your future on or build a foundation off of. In fact, we all know that there's been a plan that the elites in society have been working towards for the longest. And it's called the New World Order. I don't have to, I mean, that's a term that's thrown around so much that there's probably nobody in the world right now that's not familiar with it. But some people misunderstand the implications of what that is. That's a revolution taking place. And a revolution is a complete change. And it's a revolution, but it's not an honest revolution. It's not a revolution inspired by the people. And it's not a revolution in which there are any good stakes involved for anybody, black or white, rich or poor, whatever status or race you are, that's not even really the big issue anymore. The issue is, are you down with us or not? There's a coherent negative force in the world that, and I've been explaining it for years. Nobody's really ever really addressed that or wants to address that when I try to engage in dialogue with people about that there's a coherent negative force that is obviously against humankind and it's against the earth because look at what it produces. You could see that that's the end game. But what do we do? The people of the planet do? We play along with it. And there's several things that's been put in place to keep things that way. There's racial status, there's economic status, there's all kind of groups that people are placed into. Bottom line is it's called divide and conquer. So that coherent force has been able to successfully divide and conquer us all. Now, things are the way they are. The white people love themselves. Every other race love themselves. But sadly enough, the baddest job that's been done against any particular type of people, from my observation, has been the members of the black race. Now, I'm a member of the black race, and I know the suffering particularly because I have lived it, still living it. Don't mind the fact that I share myself or share my life with a white woman and that we have white children. Shit happens along the way in your life where when, I guess at a certain point, when you at one level of consciousness, you live those kind of ways, and by the time you catch yourself, you're like, oh shit, I'm fully in this. Now I got to deal with the consequences of this, but not that it's anything really bad, because having a white woman has allowed me to have a certain level of consciousness. I wouldn't be at the level of consciousness that I am now about many things that people who don't expose themselves to people of other cultures have. I wouldn't be on the level that I have compared to people who don't expose themselves to other cultures because of the kind of experiences that I have with them in different capacities allow me to have real life insight into who people really are. So I can honestly, if it's my intention, represent whatever change that I would like to bring forth, because I'm not going second hand based on what somebody else says. I know what I'm talking about. So you people that do rag on people like me for having relationships outside of our race, and stuff like that, I think you're wrong because you don't know what kind of insight that I may have gained from that. You know, and there are people that question my loyalty to my people because of of that fact. And I'll just go back to what I was saying again. I'm not at the same point of awareness that I was at 14 years ago when I first met the mother of my children. You know, who says? Well, I won't even go there right now. But like I said in part 13 when I first came back out with this, I'm married to the struggle and to this game right here. And I eat, live, shit, drink, sleep. I do everything with this shit revolution because I believe that that's what I'm here for. I don't have anything else in my life other than taking care of my children and making them good, productive members of the world that I could be doing. I think those are my highest callings. I think that teaching my people how to be self-sustaining is my highest calling, and I can't expect that they would want to do that unless I'm setting that example myself. Every day, I got my hands in the ground. I don't know if you can see how rough my hands are, but my hands is in the dirt every day, getting scratched up and calluses and blisters and all kind of stuff. But guess what? What I produce from that, people can visibly see with their own two eyes that we have rich, fertile land at our disposal, and there's really no need for us to be buying food in this community. There's so many sustainable energy options that are available online as far as being able to create your own sustainable energy system in order to power all the devices in your home and supply your electrical needs. If only you were of independent enough mind to explore those possibilities. I already have, and I'm almost in a position where I'll have free energy and I won't have to tap into Waka. And these are the kind of things that I want to teach my people too. And that's how you start an honest revolution and rebuild our world at the same time. Food independence, energy independence, and then there's unity. If you have unity between you and your people, then what do you need a government for? The government is just an extra option that you can utilize to your advantage should you see fit. And I don't see any reason why you shouldn't see fit because you got a government, you got to first of all realize that that government is yours. So if you got this government, you got to have a political will, a common direction in which you and your people have acknowledged that you all want to go. It's been referred to at times by different individuals as a singleness of purpose, a common direction again that we all want to go. So if we all work towards that common purpose, then we can begin to see, at least on the government end, change manifest in our lives. But you got to be willing to get up off your lazy asses and do it yourself because nobody's going to do it for you. And you can't just talk about it. Talk is cheap and faith without works is dead. You know that. These is maxims that you've already learned in life. So let's act upon what we know. But okay, what else do I want to talk about? I guess that's it for now because I actually do have a written speech prepared for you. And like I said, it's insight into who I am, why I'm doing what I'm doing, and my methodology, but I'm kind of putting it in allegory. Allegory, it's not tough allegory, it's very, very simple. I make a connection between what I'm doing as a gardener and what I'm doing as a revolutionary. And of course, I refer to certain individuals or groups within the allegory that I'm not really specifically naming names, but if you smart, you should be able to understand where I'm coming from. Okay, here's the last thing I want to tell you before I start this speech. Last thing I want to tell you is, okay, so now I know the race and economic situation is what it is, and I know that I could be doing nice shit, like really trying to reach out to the white people and trying to get them to understand our situation and get them to be sympathetic and probably do the right thing. Not just the white people, the Arabs, the Indians, everybody, even to get the black people to do the same thing. In this revolution that I'm promoting, everybody got to lead themselves. I don't want to be your leader. I'm just providing insight for you to see how you can start your own revolution, because I already know what happens to people like me. I'm ignorant, and soon as motherfuckers try something on me, I could pretty much envision how I'm going out, and I don't think that they're going to be receptive to that, especially watching that San Francisco shit. I already posted the video, my last video, about how we're going to be getting revenge on these motherfuckers, whatever. So there's people in society watching me, even though y'all ain't taking me seriously. You ain't commenting on my Facebook page. You ain't liking nothing. Y'all is just acting as if I'm not there. Well, I don't care. I'm not doing it for popularity anyway. I'm doing it because it got to be done. And if nothing else, there's going to be one example of one motherfucker out there, no holds barred, telling anybody to fuck off and shove off when they come in my face with anything. So when the children grow up, or when, you know, they looking around for examples, they be like, damn, that nigga Fair None was real. He kept it real. They shot him down. They tortured him. They did whatever. But look at how he went out. He didn't bend one bit, you know. And I'm not about the violence. I'm not trying to spark no violence or disorder or confusion. In fact, I'm trying to do the exact opposite. I'm trying to establish order, and I'm trying to eliminate the confusion by talking about the hard shit that nobody else would talk about until they're forced to, because everybody that's trying to ignore the shit that I'm doing right now, they're going to be forced to confront the stuff that I'm talking about. And guess what? Like, the way they talking right now, that's the way I was talking 20 years ago. But nobody was listening to me, you know. But they sharing all of that shit now, but they not up to my level yet. So me, I already realized that I'm a king, and I already speak with authority, and I already move, you know. And like the danger ain't even there. Like, I got all the authority in the world, and people look at me like, who the fuck he think he is? This nigga must be crazy. I'm not crazy. I just know who I am. I know I'm more than what you guys been telling me that I am, and I know that I'm not gonna allow myself to be subjugated to whatever it is that the bad people in the world want to dish out to me. I'm gonna dish some shit out back. You know, sometimes I ask people, I say, how you doing? They say, you know how it is, man. I taking my blows. And that's all I hear. They taking their blows. I'm sharing blows too, or at least I will share blows at the appropriate time. When blows got to be shared, I'll take my blows, but I'm gonna share something too. And I expect my enemies to do the same. Just take your blows, you know. Really, what all of this is a test of wills. It's a test whether your will is stronger than ours. And I'm already showing people that my will is strong. I want your will to be strong too. So let's have our wills be strong together. And to the people out there who don't like what I'm doing, well, y'all just gotta deal with it. I'm moving strong, not from a position of weakness. I'm trying to show an example that this is how all my people need to move. So y'all need to consider that. Anyway, without any further ado, here's the written speech that I have prepared for you. This is called How to Start an Honest Revolution and Rebuild Our World at the Same Time, Part 17. Now, I am Fair None again. The president, a one-man organization, the President, founder, and only member of the Universal Intelligence Agency, an organization conceived of by me, its founder, and again, only member to make the world a better place. This is more than just a black organization, and it's more than just a Hebrew Israelite organization. When I say I'm a Hebrew Israelite, that just means that I'm a Hebrew Israelite. I don't follow the customs and traditions that these people who have come up with their doctrines follow. That's because they're doing the same thing as any other church is doing, and they resting their faith on somebody coming out of the clouds and saving them. And I already exposed in some of my last videos how those doctrines is what been keeping us weak. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I got to have my own crew. And my crew is not just me, my crew has many members. And those members are the board members, the chief executive, and the chief executive, who's the almighty of the fiduciary trust that I represent. That's what I'm talking about, fiduciary trust. I already lost a bunch of y'all, I know. But look up trust law, or look up what a trust actually is. My creator, my ancestors, and all the revolutionaries of the past and present. This is my crew, and shout out to all of y'all. Father, mother, son, ancestors, spirit guides, all of that. I know I ain't make it here by myself. Shout out to y'all. Now, aside from the fact that people are way too afraid to associate themselves with me on the level that I represent, I can't roll with them anyway, because how likely is it that another person is going to see the world exactly like I do? That's why we all got to be independent satellites of our own organization. So you can't target the head, because everybody got knowledge and everybody is a potential head. You feeling me? Anyway, what if we disagree and you go off and do some stupid shit in my name, on the names of the other people in the organization? Now, I don't want to control anybody. Never did. Not one single person except my children, and that is only until they reach the age of discernment. Like right now, my daughter is very smart. I could teach her. She's only 12 years old, but I can trust her with a lot of her own decisions because I raised her and I taught her, how to discern. And at least till she's 18, I'm not trying to. I'm trying to control her to help guide her or whatever. But when she reached that age of full discernment, I'm going to trust her fully with the reins of her life. But other than that, I'm not trying to control anybody. I'm actually reviled at the very concept of control when it comes to other people by dishonest means. So that's why this is an honest revolution, because you could see my life is like a fishbowl. Anybody who knows me can observe my life from up close, and I ain't hiding nothing. And I got skeletons in my closet too, and y'all got to discover them. But I'm not just gonna put it out there like that. But everybody got skeletons, but I ain't afraid of any skeletons that I got discovered, because I basically lived a very, very honest life and a good life. So whatever it is, it ain't that bad. It can't be that bad. Anyway, what I want to do with my life is to create leaders like myself. Individuals, people who would do things like what I'm doing, and just say, fuck that, fuck my association with this person or that person or whatever. I want to get to the truth. What's really causing the world to be fucked up like it is? And I want to give people the confidence to know how to go about doing what they do, and to kind of validate them in a way to feel like if there's people out there that feel like, I should be doing anything. Well, I just want them to know that there's a few little things that everybody can do to make our struggle successful. And when you create leaders like yourself, you can't destroy the movement by striking the shepherd and making the sheep scatter, because they ain't no motherfucking sheep. Everybody ain't sheep no more. Everybody's, the prey has turned into the potential predator. You know, so that's what I'm trying to create. And I look at things like this, and as far as controlling people, this life is your inheritance. Spend it how you want to, as long as you're not hurting anybody in the process. Me personally, I'm all about free will. So if a person wants to squander their existence as one who does not want to be the best person they could possibly become through the use of the benefit of knowledge, to me, it is up to them. The gift of life is precious, and one could choose to cherish it and treat it like gold and be the best that one could be, or someone can choose to be or do the complete opposite. Either way, it's your choice, and I don't have the time or the patience to hold anyone's hand. And with this as a grounding philosophy of mine, what justification would I have to want to control others? That would be futile and actually against what I'm trying to accomplish. I want the world to become a better place as a matter of choice and not force, because then I would know that the world is indeed truly a better place because the people themselves have willed toward it. But in terms of how what anyone does that affects the rest of the world, you got to understand my fiduciary obligation to the trust. If you are fucking up my planet, and yes, I said my planet, it's mine and it is, I'm here to stand in your way. I represent the only legitimate trust that has ever existed, the one that was created between the Most High and His chosen ones, the children of Israel. Yeah, I know this sounds silly to some, but there really are chosen people in the world. If everyone were to put away their prejudices for just 1 minute and look around you, you would know right off the bat who I speak of. But we are being demonized and portrayed as the problem wherever you find us in the world. But we are not the problem, are we? This earth was handed down to the original man in trust. By the original man, I mean the black man. So we were given dominion, and we fucked that up. So the Most High gave dominion over to the other nations for a period of 6,000 years. And that time is now up. And the rightful beneficiaries of the trust are ready to assume their rightful roles. So you other nations, you got to move over. It's our turn. We got next. Now there's a saying out there that there's nothing more powerful than a Hebrew Israelite armed with knowledge. Well, I'm about to prove it to you right now. Just give me some time. In keeping with the saying I just quoted, let me tell you what I'm really after. I'm after power. The power to make my environment the product of me, and not me the product of my environment. My environment is bad. Everywhere I go, my environment is bad, except for certain types of people. I acknowledge that this in itself is bad, and I do not want to be bad. I want to be good, and I want my environment to be good. And in order to be good, I gotta be bad. And I don't want... Now pause for a second and think about that. Because I know it does not make sense to some. It shouldn't at this point, but it will make perfect sense once I explain it. 1. I am not delusional, and I'm not trying to eliminate evil, because evil will always be there. Universally speaking, we need evil. Without it, how could we consider ourselves good? I mean, that's if we aspire to be even better, the best that we can be. We have to be able to recognize evil for what it is, and in order to do that, we got to see it. It's got to be present, you know. And you can rise above evil because good, in its good conquers evil, actually, basically. But the essence, even the Most High is evil at times, or looked at as being evil at times. You know, when I say evil, he's not necessarily evil, but he's looked at as being evil at times. But the essence of the Most High is good because he's chosen to be. Now, if you think about it, good and evil and God and the devil are both abstract manifestations of themselves and each other. Now, this is the foundation. They both good and bad need each other to exist, which is why the Most High don't try to destroy evil. You know what I'm saying? Because he basically destroy himself in the process. Now, this is the foundation that I've chosen to build my next points upon. When I say I have to be bad in order to be good, understand that this is not really the case. It's just a matter of perspective. If someone was to say that I'm bad or that I committed a bad action, would they be correct? Or I would ask, or someone should ask, according to who? Now, in addition to being independently employed, doing whatever I have to in order to survive without hurting anyone, and being a stay-at-home dad, I'm a gardener. Now, when I first laid eyes on my gardener, it was a straight mess, a bunch of confusion. Tall trees were growing over my house to the point where objects were lodged in my guttering, and those objects lodged in the spouting where the water that would fill my cistern would travel. So I couldn't even get any water into my cistern until I resolved this problem. I couldn't even walk through my yard because there was a literal tall forest of trees and vines and bush to navigate through. There was garbage everywhere. My garden was home to a variety of different pests that would not be welcome in any garden. Order had to be established, regardless as to how anybody felt about it. Now, this is my garden, and those who have problems with the way I do things could very simply either get fucked or get going. You know? Simple. Anyway, the first thing I did was to get rid of the garbage. This was no easy task. So all of the centipedes and gungalos and tarantulas and all types of other creatures were being evicted from their breeding places. And I'm sure they didn't like that. They still don't. They probably think the worst of me, but I don't care. This is my garden. Next, there was a forest of tall trees and vines to contend with, some of which seemed to have been there for at least 30 years. And guess who else I had to contend with while I was cutting down those trees? That's right, the gardener's worst enemy other than insects in the Virgin Islands. These long-term residents with no natural predator obviously feel a sense of entitlement in the territory that they have claimed for themselves. And there are some that would say that this is unfair for me to destroy the habitat of the iguana just so that I could have a garden. I have a response to that. Does the iguana himself not continually fight against even other iguanas to have that territory? And did he himself at one point not come, see, and conquer? The iguanas know the game. Although they don't like it, the facts are the facts. I am at the top of the food chain, and I'm here now, ready to assume my rightful place. Order must be established, and you and the other iguanas must follow my lead. Now, there's going to be a garden here, and you are a scavenger by nature, so I don't expect you to change. And you may steal from me if you're good enough, but if I catch you, I'll send you back to the galactic void from whence you were spawned to be recycled. In other words, I will help you meet your maker, iguana. I speak metaphorically at this point, but if you're smart, you should be able to read between the lines. Continuing. While cultivating my garden, I probably earned a few more enemies that I'm unaware of at this point, or at least I'm not speaking of at this point. But rest assured, they continually get dealt with too, whoever violates. In the process of destroying my enemies, I am simultaneously grooming those who I wish to be in my garden. And from the time these individuals end up in my hands as a seed, I give them the best care possible, taking care that I know that there's so much that they're going to have to face. Now, there's plenty of haters out there, haters that would block their sunlight if I would let them. Obviously, there are tall trees, and they don't like that shit at all. They must be saying to themselves, you cut us down for them? My answer is, why not? You tall, worthless trees do not produce good fruit. I thank you for the good air that you've provided, but I want air from these guys now. not you. We have a deal and we depend on one another. You, on the other hand, have nothing to offer me except trouble. Now then, I know that you curse us and that you vow to return, but I'll be right here. I'll be right here waiting for you guys when you get back, like a good gardener. In the meantime, I continue to dig rocks out of the ground and build a suitable environment for my children in my garden, the children of my garden, who depend upon me, in turn upon whom I depend. But the rocks are stubborn and heavy and do not give way to my will very easily. Neither do the stumps and vines of the trees I cut down. But that's nothing though. It's nothing that a little hard work and dedication can't solve. The battle going on in the garden, make no mistake, is a test of wills. So far, I'm undefeated, and I do not ever intend to succumb. The iguanas have not forgotten what I've done. They refused to heed my many warnings until eventually I came to understand that to have a compromise with an iguana and expect him or her to honor it is a lost cause. Now I could observe an iguana anywhere and I will not find anywhere else and I will not find fault in it. But when I find them in my garden, Houston, we have a problem on the Apollo. Now, I've been known to recycle a great deal of them back to the galactic void spoken of earlier from whence they came. The first time I did it, I felt a lot of guilt, but since then, there have been many violations, so I learned to live with the violence and to actually enjoy repaying my enemies in the garden. I have to protect my babies, you know. So to finally conclude my point on why I have to be bad in order to be good, who says I'm bad? It depends on who you asking. The insects, the trees, the iguanas, well, they'll all say that I'm bad because they like things the way they were before I arrived on the scene. And when I got here, their world was turned upside down in the name of the establishment of order in what I now consider mine and not their environment. You catch me? Now, am I bad? That depends, according to who. Now, if you were to ask the other beneficiaries of the trust that I've established in the name of the trust that I've been handed over, individuals like the collard greens, the kale, the peppers, the spinach, the eggplant, the okra, the tomatoes, the sorrel, the lemongrass, the passion fruit, the banana, the pineapple, the coconut, the arugula, the yam, the arrowroot, the culantro, and many, many more. In fact, the list is up to like 50 right now. You would all find that if they could, they would all say that I'm not such a bad guy at all. In fact, I am a good guy, as they would probably see it if they were given the gift of sight. So what is my ultimate point? I'm not really a bad guy once you get to know me. It just depends on who's asking. My garden of vegetables is just the beginning. I intend to establish gardens everywhere, even among human populations, and I expect there to be a lot of tall trees, insects, and human iguanas along the way. Now, I know a lot of them are going to want to say that I'm bad because I'm establishing order, but that is only because they have grown comfortable with their standing before I got here. Now that I'm here, things are going to change. So to all you human critters out there, as well as you insects, tall trees, stones, and roots, I'm coming to root up your environments. In a way, I already did. You just don't know it yet. Now you can call me what you will. I know that if it's not good, it is not true. It is not true. Just as I know that if it is not good, it is not true. Just ask my human vegetables. That's it for today, brothers and sisters. This is General Fair None Everlasting, the among many sovereign vicegerent of the earth, executor, beneficiary, administrator, fiduciary of the last will and testament of the Almighty Creator when He left this earth to man in trust as vicegerent of the earth. So I'm just doing my part until my other brothers and sisters are willing to acknowledge their roles and assume their roles in the trust. So this has been a General Fair None presentation. I am Fair None, the self-described lawless lawbreaker, because your laws are illegitimate in my eyes. Your governments throughout the world are as illegitimate as any $3 American note in my eyes. So I assume all roles of the trust, like I said before, until my other brothers and sisters in the true nation of Israel wake up to the truth of who they really are. Until next time, Israel, as always, in our ancient Hebrew tradition, I bid you shalom, and I leave you with these words. 1. Study to show thyself approved, and 2. Right on to the real and death to the fakers. Justify your existence or die like a piece. Kwam Yasharala. Rise Israel. Out.